Hey guys, this will be a tips and tricks video for Argentina, where I will go through one of the stages in the Flatout DLC, also playing with the DualShock 4 controller. The whole run will be covered with commentary to help you getting understanding of the location. The stage we'll be using here is the Argentina 1994 scenario, and it is a long stage. Argentina is also a location with lots of rocks, and one of your main concerns is to avoid hitting them from both inside and outside of the road. There are rocks left to right. There are also many corners and hairpins as well, and the key to setting a fast time in Argentina is to get a good exit through corners. So if you have clutch override on, regardless if you drive manual or automatic transmission, you can use the clutch to speed up the turbo through exits. If you can gain a little bit of more time through every corner, think about the time you can set here. It is a real fun location once you've mastered it, to be honest. But with all that being said, let's get into the run. So this run will be played with manual transmission, clutch override on to use the clutch at any given moment, and played with no assists. So let's get into the run. Before you start, if you have clutch on, like I said, press the clutch and the handbrake, and then release both the handbrake and the clutch when you're about to start, when you're about to launch. It will give you a slightly faster launch. So do that. Some small things can make you go faster. So yeah, it's always good to note that. All right, we're going hard on the power here, up until 5th gear. Let me see here. So after these people, right before we get to this, let's see, I don't know how we're going to mark this, but after you pass this huge rock here, like this rock you see here, with the sharp rock on the left side. After you pass that, shift down to 4th gear, brake slightly, and brake slightly, go to 3rd gear, brake slightly, go to 2nd gear, and then once you've done all your braking, then you do the corner. Handbrake, a low slight handbrake, slight clutch, get a slide. Let me show you again. Handbrake, clutch, slide. Here you want to get hard on the power as well. Hard on the power. It might seem like very dangerous, but you can set a pretty fast second section here if you get on with the power. So flat out until you get to 5th gear. You can even go up to 5th gear earlier here. Just flat out, push the power. Just stabilize the car, and then you go to 4th gear. 2nd gear, and turn. Now the turn here can be very tricky, or somewhat tricky. You have to do a little bit of braking before you get here, because you've gone like flat out in the beginning, and then you have to power down. So each time you power down, each time you gear down, you have to brake slightly. Like 4th gear, brake slightly. 3rd gear, brake slightly. 2nd gear, brake harder, and then you do the turn. With a bit of handbrake as well. So use the handbrake here. And here's a tricky area, because you will see a lot of people. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say a lot of people. Let's say some people, or I did it also in the beginning when I didn't know how to. Is this corner here, this sharp corner, you want to stay on the power. What are you going to do? It's not that you need to push the throttle, it's that you use the clutch. So use the combination of the clutch and handbrake here. Very important. So clutch, get a slide, and if you start to lose power here, you just kick the clutch again. You just tap the clutch. I have the clutch mapped as L1. You see? Then I got on the power again, fast. No hesitation. And I didn't hit any rocks either. So here, it's really important to pay attention to the details in this location, because Argentina can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know what to expect, because there are rocks from both sides, left and right. So you really need to pay attention to where can you push, where do you need to be careful. Here, you just want to go down to third gear, and then you go to second gear once you're near the corner here, and use some weight transfer here. So just lift and turn, lift and turn. And here's also a little bit of a dangerous corner, because you can hit the rear end of your car if you're not careful. You want to turn a little earlier. You want to use the handbrake just a little bit if you don't get enough rotation. And then power down again. Go to first gear on this one, because this one can be dangerous if you go to second gear. I've tried it both times. Sometimes I can get away with second, but I go to first. Like that. I do a little bit of a clutch kick as well. Gotta go to first gear here, turn. I don't even think I brake. I don't brake here. I just turn. So just manage your throttle here. Don't push the throttle, and just let go of the throttle, and then just handbrake and clutch. Handbrake and clutch. Clutch kick. Turn. Second gear. Stay in second gear. Use the clutch. And here you want to, before you enter the corner, brake slightly. Just tap the brake once or twice, and then do this corner in first gear. But I think I made a mistake here. I hit the rock. I was too close to the rocks here. But the plan was to get a little wider. You have to be a little wider at this section, or maybe a little further away, and then you can do the turn, because there, there are too many rocks close to the corner. And then you go to second gear, sorry. Second gear, and then do a turn here. This is like a hairpin turn. Use the handbrake, yank the handbrake, and use the clutch to kick it out. Stay on the power. Second gear, stay in second gear here. What I like to do is use the handbrake here, because you need a bit of rotation, and you want to be very careful with the throttle, or else you will hit the left side of the rocks. Yeah, compared to some of the other videos, I will be going a lot into detail of which rocks and where to look out for, be careful with in this location, because one little small thing can mess up your whole run. So yeah, I'm paying attention to details in this location in particular. So here you want to steer to the left. You want to be as close to the left side as possible. So sometimes you don't even have to push the throttle. So you just lift, do a bit of weight transfer, lift, and turn to the left. Stay on the left side as much as possible. Of course, careful you don't hit the rocks here. Stay in third gear here until you're out of the woods. When you're at the straight, near the straight, then you go to fourth gear. Manage the throttle. Go to fourth gear. Here you want to be careful as well. Go to third gear, second gear. Take this corner a little careful, or else you'll hit the rocks. I was close. Second gear. If you're not comfortable being in second gear here, if you're afraid you'll slide maybe too much to the right side, go to first gear and take this one with safety. I actually hit a rock here. So yeah, just be careful. Was it here? Oh yeah, I hit it on the right side. Here you want to be careful, you want to gear down a couple do a little bit of braking before you enter this corner. First gear, always first gear in this one. On this one, this is a narrow one. So, and because you want to be careful, you don't. If you fail, you either hit the rocks on the right side, or you get over the edge and off the road, and that's goodbye to the career. And remember to use handbrake and clutch. So I'm using these, like, I'm talking a lot about using the clutch a lot here. You can even use the clutch if you're playing automatic gear. So if you're using automatic transmission, you can definitely use the clutch as well. Then you only have to worry about using the clutch. You don't have to worry about gearing down, gearing up. So you can still use map the clutch button on your controller. Use it on the L1, for example. That's where I'm using it. So yeah, you can definitely play automatic if you want. There are other stages where I think manual might be more advantageous, but this one I think you can still play. I still think it's better with manual, but if you're not used to manual, for sure, just try with automatic. But if you want to set fast times, it's manual all the way. Oh, I hit the rock here, you need to be careful. So this section here, you need to be careful. So before you get here, you want to slow down a little more than I do. I was a little bit confident here. Maybe I was turning too late. You want to turn a little earlier than I did. You also want to be careful you don't hit the edge of the rock on the right side. Right before you enter the corner, there's like an edge. The rock there was like, it will stick out. You want to be careful on that right side. So yeah, I went too wide here and I hit the rock. You want to go a little closer to the apex. Here I learned from my mistake, so there's another corner here where there's some edges you want to be careful with. So here I learned from my mistake. I went closer to the rocks. Of course, not too close. So, and here there's like a 90-degree corner. Just gear down and then brake slightly and turn with the handbrake. Don't have to use the clutch here. Just handbrake. Yeah, you need to use the handbrake a lot in this in Argentina. At least in my opinion. Some people just use weight transfer and stuff like that. Scandinavian flicks maybe. But yeah, I rely a lot on the handbrake. So yeah, it's just my style. Maybe it's a bad habit using it too much, and just especially on this location because I need a bit more rotation sometimes. Yeah. Oh, and here you want to be careful as well. Here you also want to go down to the second gear and lift a little early and then turn. You see? And here you want to be careful. Third gear, manage your throttle control. And then brake a little bit. Second gear, just turn with a handbrake, no clutch. Hard on the power, go to fourth gear, fifth gear. Stay in fifth gear and then sixth gear. And then gear down again to fifth gear, fourth gear. And here you really want to be careful. Sometimes I get overconfident and I go way too fast here and I brake way too late. I mean, I do some slight braking before, but the main thing is you want to lift the throttle a little earlier than you might think. You don't see this angle like sometimes. So even when the co-driver tells you, you might underestimate when the corner is going to come, when you're going to enter it. So go to first gear when you enter the corner, always. It's a narrow one. Luckily, if you hit the left side, you just hit the rocks, you won't get off the road. But still, you want to avoid that. So yeah, here, handbrake, clutch. Go to third gear, manage your throttle, hard on the power here to fourth gear, stay in fourth gear, do a little bit of lifting here, fifth gear, go down to fourth gear as well, turn, careful here, third gear, and here you want to be careful. So you want to be careful of the rocks on the left side. I almost hit them, but it was close. And then you want to be careful of the edge of the rock on the right side. And here you also want to turn, do a little bit of hand braking as well. Stay on the power, fourth gear, lifting a little bit. And here you want to be careful as well. There's like an unseen corner, so you want to, if you can't turn enough with just weight transfer, just use slightly tap the handbrake. Go down to second gear and slightly tap the handbrake. Brake a little bit before the corner, of course. Normal braking. Handbrake, slight handbrake maybe, not too much, or else you'll hit the edge of the rock on the left side. And then this section, there are some straights, semi-straights. You want to be careful with your throttle. Don't push it 100%, maybe 60%, 70%, depending on where you're at. Just be careful here, because there are just rocks on both sides. So careful with the straights. Hard control, throttle control. Just be careful. And here there's another unseen corner. You want to be careful. I go down to third gear, and then I lift and I turn. Do some slight lifting. Do some slight steering here. Steer to the left a little bit. Don't go too much. If for example you go full lock, you steer full lock to the left side, your rear end will hit the right rock, the right side of the rocks. Yeah, so be careful. You see, if you turn too much, your rear end will point out, and it will hit something. So just slightly turn, slight turn here. Do a slight turn. But stay on the power. And here's another turn you want to be careful with. Here you just want to steer to the left, to the right as much as possible. So lift a little bit, throttle a little bit, lift a little bit. You see, I went too wide here. I should have lifted a little more. I was a bit too confident here. So you have to lift a little more here. So after the rock here, then lift, and then steer to the right side a little more. Use a little bit of weight transfer. Steer to the right side more. Here I just kept pushing the throttle, so I was on the left side too much. You want to be on the right side, so you can line up. Your racing line would be better if you're on the left side. You see, because now I have to do some adjustments when I get to these rocks. If I would just stay on the left side, I could just drive straight through here. Or maybe I could. I did that anyways, but you know, if you were too much on the right side, it's harder to just drive straight. And here you want to do a little bit of hand braking. I went down to first gear just to be safe. And I turned way too early. You can turn a little later here actually. I turned way too early. I was just being safe. You see? You can turn a little bit later than I did here. So here, there's a slight turn as well. A little bit turning. Stay on the power, but be careful here. Sorry, don't stay on the power. I meant keep your throttle control. So just like gently with the throttle, and then when you come up here, there'll be a corner on the right side as well. Here you want to be careful. Don't be too aggressive with this one. You can also do some hand braking here. To use the handbrake and the clutch. sorry, this is not the corner where you use the clutch. Just use the handbrake. You want to be careful here. There's another corner. Here you want to use the clutch as well. I almost hit the rock there. So you want to be careful. You see, I was turning way too much. The rear end of my car was way too much to the left. So too much rotation here. So do another handbrake turn here. We're almost at the finish line. Well, not almost, but there's like a minute or so. And here's another sharp corner, so you want to go down to... I think I kept my gear on second. But yeah, you can go first gear as well if you want to be safe. If you're afraid to hit the rocks on the left side, the rear end of your car. So do a slight e-brake turn here, handbrake turn here. Just to get a better rotation. So here I go to first gear. I'm being very careful here because this section I know I can't take it on second. At least not most of the times, because I don't know, I just hit the left side way too often if I go to second gear. So if you're playing with manual, go down to first gear. And turn a little earlier as well. Turn earlier than you might think. Don't turn, if you turn too late, you will hit the left side. I mean, the left side is what I'm looking at now, in front of my steering wheel. That is the left side I'm referring to. Just if you're confused. Because it's the left side now, right? You see? When I'm turning, it is the left side. So here you want to be careful as well. Lift, just lift, and then turn. Use the handbrake a little bit. Here you have to use the clutch as well. So stay on the power. Build the revs up. Here you want to be careful as well when you do the turn, especially here, because if you turn way too much, or if you're on the power way too much, you will hit the rock on the left side. You see that rock there? Yeah, in front of my steering wheel at the moment. So we're almost at the finish line. We have to be careful here as well. Lots of rocks on both sides. So here I also use the clutch a little bit. I think I go down to first gear, just to be safe. No, I don't. I go on second gear. But stay on first gear just to be safe, so you don't hit any rocks. And then we're at the finish line. And we get a time of... Let's see that time. 6:29.091. So that is a good run. So this stage was played. I might have mentioned it, but this stage was played in the Argentina 1994 scenario. So yeah. I wanted to use this one because you are going to play this stage twice in the Color McRae DLC, and this will be the very first scenario when you play Argentina, the first Argentina scenario. So yeah, I hope that run was useful. Now let's get to the settings. I always use the same Ds4 settings, but I will show them again nevertheless. Always check if your inputs are correct, that your throttle is working 100%, the brake is working. So let's see here. So these are my button mappings. Just pause the video if I'm going way too fast. So let's go to the and you see I have manual sequential on, clutch override on, no assists. That's just my personal driving preference. Let's see here. Okay, so these are the Ds4 settings I'm using. Feel free to copy them. I have the same one in all of my videos. Again, just pause the video if I'm going too fast, but I doubt I'm going too fast. I'm always slow. So yeah, those were the settings. I can't stress this enough. Like, just be aware. Just check every time when you're playing the game that everything is working correctly. You don't want to use a broken controller when playing this game. You don't want to be at any disadvantages. So yeah, that was the settings and the stage run. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any questions, you can just comment and I will answer them as best as I can. Thank you for watching.